2022 NFL alternate helmets, grades, and review. We're going to take a look at the new helmets that have been introduced this year now that the one shell rule has been lifted, both the alternate helmets and the retro helmets.
Let's start off with the Arizona Cardinals.
And with the Cardinals having the black uniforms, wasn't surprising that they chose to have a black helmet to go with them. The thing about it that is unique compared to the other ones is it has a metallic, glittery, red element to it. It's not just black by itself, but otherwise the same exact design and not too surprising.
I'm going to jump in and say that I feel like our task today is easier because last year we did the whole uniform. This year we're only looking at these alternate helmets, and it's only the helmet. And with the Cardinals, their usual helmet is all white, and now they've gone in the complete opposite direction with black, except you have that little metallic red. You can't really see it on this image here or graphic, but when they did the introduction video, promo video, you could see it on there. Either way, I don't like it. They, as you said, thinking about the Cardinals, they started off with a black jersey only. Then they went to a black jersey and black pants, and now they just have gone all the way. Black helmet, black jersey, black pants. And I don't know, it's an alternate, but they went out last season in embarrassing fashion to their loss in the playoffs against the Rams. And I just don't know about the direction of the team, but as far as their uniforms have gone, they've been consistently bad for the last, now we're getting close to 20 years. They've had very bad uniforms. I didn't love their uniforms before, but at least you could count on them having a solid helmet. Didn't love their helmet, but it was a solid helmet throughout the years. They made the change with the angrier looking Cardinal, but I could at least count on that. Now they throw in this helmet. The good news is it's only an alternate. We're only going to see it a maximum of 3 times
Right.
a season. What kind of grade do you give this?
I would give it a D. I would personally like to see either, first and foremost, a retro helmet with the 1990s or later retro uniform, or I would have liked to see red to go with a red uniform, not black, but it does make sense why they chose black, and the rules being what they are, not allowing them to pair it with any of their normal uniform or pants, but this was expected.
Yeah, what I always want to see for their helmet, and we mentioned it in the full uniform review, is keep the white helmet, just put a red stripe down the middle of that helmet, or give it a red face mask. That's another thing they could do. The theme of this review is the league and the alternate helmets being black. I mean, almost all of them that we're going to look at here, the majority are black. And what started in the NBA, that every team, almost every team that I can think of, has a black alternate. I'd have to go one by one. And now this has gone in the NFL. It hasn't hit Major League Baseball yet, but everyone in the NBA wants to have a black uniform. Now in the NFL, most of these teams want a black helmet. And thinking of the teams that have black helmets, traditionally, it's the Steelers, and then more recently, it's the Ravens. And now we have this whole lineup of black helmets. I give it a D too. I agree with you. Maybe I could go D minus. I'll stick with a D. The glittery red doesn't help. It could be worse. They could have found a way to make this worse, but
Could have been matte.
it's in the category of below average and very close to an F, but it didn't quite make it. So I give it a D also. The Atlanta Falcons.
Very nice. I only would change the gold and remove it from the stripe in the middle. And I also liked it when they had the white face mask at points in the past. But otherwise, a very solid design. I liked the black helmet and uniform combination set for the retro set they had more recently, but they switched it to matte last year. It matches better with the black jersey than this red one does, but it's still a very, very nice design, and I would give it a B.
I also like this very much, and I agree with you. I prefer the black helmet, black jersey. For us, it's the Chris Chandler, Jamal Anderson Falcons, or better yet, Morton Anderson Falcons. But this is very good. I mean, any of the Falcons from, say, the 80s, the 90s, anything from that era is better than what they've had for the current helmet going back to the mid 2000s. I welcome this helmet. It's a very good alternate, and I'm with you as well. I give this a straight B. It's not elite, but it's very good, and it's a great improvement upon what they have. You know, if they will want to wear this all the time, or give us the black that looks like this, that 90s one, go for it.
Just having a logo that fits and having a stripe down the middle makes such a big difference.
And not having a trendy helmet. The one we've had for years. Unfortunately, that's about the same time as the Cardinals got their updated uniforms. They've stuck, and they've been around too long. Though they've been trendy, they've remained. So wear this. I wish they could wear this more than 3 times. Carolina Panthers.
This one, it's very similar to their standard helmet, but it is matte instead of shiny. The logo of the Panther to me is one of the weaker points because it's just the black and blue. I like to see a white outline, something to set it off more. It gets lost, and with the current helmets, the logo is set very far back. It just gets lost and is kind of more abstracted in this design. It would be nice if there was white in the teeth for the Panther, like the normal helmet has, or some kind of white outline to set it off a little better. I do like the stripe in the middle of the helmet for structure and contrast, but overall it's pretty weak design, and I would give it a D.
I'm a big fan of the Carolina Panthers regular uniforms, and overall really like the helmet. This makes me think arena football or like a bad high school or college experiment. Seeing this, the fact that it's matte and there's no white, there's no gray, silver, and it's really only those two colors. I give this a D minus. It's very close to an F. It's just, I sit back and I say, well, what were they thinking? Why would you wear this? Who would like this? How is this an improvement over what they have? It's awful. And I will not watch a game with them wearing this helmet. It's an instant turnoff. The Chicago Bears.
This was surprising to me, being how traditional the Bears are, aside from the orange jersey that they have worn in recent history, but basically just a inverted version of their normal helmet as far as the helmet goes. And it's very loud, poor contrast, and doesn't add anything or enhance anything that their normal helmet has already.
What do you think they're even going to wear this with? The home or the road?
Orange home jerseys would be my guess, and just a desperate move to stir up something new on a bad team.
So you see them wearing orange on orange at home with
White pants.
white pants.
So for me, I would give this an F because of the history in addition to the design itself. The Bears don't need to mess around. They just need to get rid of the orange jersey, and even if they want to wear the retro helmet that they've worn in recent years, that would be a lot more tolerable than this.
Yeah, when we reviewed all the uniforms last year, when we came to the Bears, I remember saying that we don't need to see orange. I don't want to see orange, and should have saw this coming. Though the Bears are a traditional team, teams have a hard time resisting going with more orange if they have a little orange. Whether that be, just think of the Dolphins and some of the things the Dolphins have done, but they didn't go with an orange helmet. It's amazing that the Bears, and the Dolphins have great history. The Bears go back much further than the Dolphins. And everything that's right with the blue helmet of the Bears, they get wrong here because blue's the primary color. Orange is not. The orange complements the blue, not the other way around. You already have your orange teams in the league. You have your Bengals, you have your Browns. We don't need this. We don't want this. I too give it an F. It's a failure. It's a team that doesn't have an identity right now. They have a new quarterback, but it seems like it's just a mess of an organization. And at least they could look good on the field. But when they wear these, they're certainly not. They're going to look like one of the worst teams in the league. Unless they're going to face one of the teams that has a worse alternate helmet. And there actually are teams with worse alternate helmets than the Bears. But it's an F. Cincinnati Bengals.
As we've said in the past, one of the more unique and classy designs in itself. So it already has that going for it. And the white color matching with the white jersey. They're going to use a color rush jersey with it, but still, it's a pretty good match, and it's still basically the same exact helmet minus the orange. So very good alternate. Not necessary, but good and very tolerable. So I would give it a B plus.
Yeah, one more thing about the Bears is, a team that does not win does what the Bears have chosen to do, wearing a helmet like that. A team that needs attention, and a team that is only known for one season, 1985, for the most part, have been losers outside of a few years. But getting onto the Bengals, I like this because the great design is intact. Nothing's changed there. It's just that the orange color is removed. And I'm trying to be fair about this because I love the Bengals regular helmet. It is probably in my top 3 favorite helmets, at least top 5 favorite helmets in the whole league. The orange with the black, it's excellent. And two, comparing it to what we just saw with the Bears, it's just too much orange. The regular Bengals, at least there's a lot of black in there. It has, the black face mask, of course. The Bears have a blue face mask on their alternate, but you have the black stripes all over. But with that said, I will say this is a very solid alternate helmet. I'd prefer they didn't have an alternate helmet, but for an alternate helmet, it's above average. I don't go quite as high as you. I give it a B. I like it, and doing my own research, I had to make sure that there was such a thing as a white Bengal tiger, and there is. White Bengal tigers exist, but wear these sparingly. That's what I'll say. Wear these sparingly, and I'm glad it's no more than 3 times. I'd say 1 to 2 times a year, but at least it's based on something that exists. Real Bengal tigers. Dallas Cowboys.
This was a late addition and a surprise. Not expecting it, but it's the same great design that they normally have, just in white. Very strong stripe down the middle, very strong star logo. Very nice. Also, like the Bengals, I would say, very unnecessary, but if you're going to have an alternate, it does work. It'll be interesting to see this paired with the color rush of the Cowboys. I would give this an A minus.
Yeah, I like this helmet. It's I would say the best alternate helmet here of any team. But unnecessary is the word I would use, because we're going to see the turn back in a moment. I just don't see the point of this if they already have the silver helmet, and the silver helmet is clearly better than this. It's just swapping the silver with the white. So now they have white for this helmet, and the design is excellent. One thing they could have done, though, is they could have used a blue face mask. I know that's not tradition of the Cowboys, but it would have just been an extra touch to make this a little more unique. I like it, and I'm just trying to grade it for what it is because we don't have a choice. We're going through all these helmets. I'd give it a B+. To be honest, I don't think I could give any of these alternate helmets or just any alternate helmet an A. There's nothing that blows me away with anything. This is very good, but it's a step down from perhaps the best helmet in the NFL in the Cowboys. Maybe that'd be a conversation for another day, but arguably the best helmet in the NFL. If you have that, I don't want to see you wear anything other than that best helmet. I do really like the outline for the star. So B plus is as high as I can go. And now we have the Turnback retro Cowboys helmet. This goes back to the 1960s, their original look that we have seen on Thanksgiving many times.
And it's very similar, still one of the best helmets that we have in the lineup here, just with the gray face mask and the straight star, no outline. Very solid, but not as strong as their current helmet or the white version one that we just showed. So I would give it a B.
I'm aware that this is one of the most popular turnback helmets in the NFL. It could be the most popular in the whole league. But for the reason I already stated, I'm personally not as high on it because there's nothing that's better, nothing that can top what we know as the default silver Cowboys helmet with a blue star and the outline around it.
So I'd say never wear anything other than that. But I recognize and acknowledge that this is where it began. And if you are going to wear an alternate, I do prefer this, even though I'm not going to give this a lower grade than the other one. I'm going to give this a B. I just gave the new one a B plus. But this is an actual historical helmet. This is where it began for the Cowboys. And there's just more of a difference between this and their regular helmet because there's no outline. It's simply the star. So I do like it as an alternate, but it's clearly a lesser version. Not being silver, there's no outline than the regular Cowboys helmet. But I do like it. I give it a B. It's a good alternate. I just think that they don't have to wear it every year for Thanksgiving. And I'm assuming that's what they're just going to do this year. That's just going to be the one time. Houston Texans.
To go with their red jersey, they chose to have a red helmet and not a whole lot to say other than the color red. That's the only thing that's different. Contrast just isn't as strong. It's shiny, metallic, and so in a way, depending on the lighting, it doesn't match the red jersey. The main point I think is that the contrast is weaker, and so it's, again, another one of those unnecessary ones. Great to match with the red jersey, but not needed. What you need to do is, like the Bears, just get rid of the red jersey. So I'd give this one C minus.
C minus is exactly the grade I give it. My problem is that red is the secondary color, so there's too much. There's too much of the red, so that it's just unbalanced now. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Texans in the first place. I think it's a lame team name. They're in the lower half of the uniforms. I would always rather have blue, an all blue if you're going to have all one color, than red. I think they need a redesign. I think they need a new name. I think they need a new redesign. But I beg the Texans, please do not wear these with all red uniforms. I do not want to see the red helmet, red jersey, red pants, the entire pajama look all together. My hope is they'd only wear this once if they had to wear it. We already know they're going to wear these, so they could have found a way to make it worse. I will say that. I dislike these. I give it a C minus, and hopefully you don't see much of it. The New England Patriots, and now we finally have a helmet here in this review that I really like, and I'm glad to see return. And we've seen it in prior years. This isn't the first time since the early 90s. They brought it back a few times when Tom Brady was with the team, the Belichick-Brady Patriots. But this is a helmet I am pleased to see back, and a couple times a year is good.
Very nice balance of elements. The logo is a very good size. Pat Patriot is a strong logo. The stripe down the middle is thick and strong, but not too big or too small. And the white face mask instead of the gray face mask, which they used at times in recent history, is better. So for me, I would give this one an A.
I still prefer the new or the regular, let's call it the regular Patriots helmet since the 90s. The Brady Belichick Patriots, it's in there. It's in my top 3 helmets or so. I'd say my favorite helmets are Cowboys, Bengals, and Patriots in some order there. This is a very unique, and it is an outstanding helmet. And I can't quite give it an A. It's a B plus for me. And it has character. It brings you back to past years, and it's strong, but it's also just very different and distinct from what we've come to know as the Patriots. So this definitely gives our stamp of approval for an alternate helmet. And this is what alternate helmets should be. The New Orleans Saints.
And we had a lot to say about the Saints in our uniform review because we feel that in the past they have had some great uniform and helmet combinations, and this is another example of a bad one. Changing gold to black and black to gold, and then going with this stripe pattern down the middle, similar to the Seahawks, very wide with a pattern of logos in the middle. It's a poor design. They would have been better to go back and try and imitate the 70s Saints black helmets and uniform design than to do this. And the fact that it's going to be paired with their retro white on white uniform makes it even worse. So I give this one an F.
Absolutely. I mean, this is just, I only have one word, stupid. Especially with the white uniform. And we know how much they love wearing black on black. The one thing we could always hold on to the Saints is the helmet is still great. Right. It was a top 10 helmet, regardless of what they did from the head down. You still had that great Saints helmet. And, you know, with some of these, I wouldn't quite go this far for the helmets, but I will say this with some of the sports and different alternate uniforms across sports, is it's like an elementary school kids art contest. You know, it's just, you have kindergarten kids who are designing these, you know, uniforms. That's how it looks sometimes. And real adults and designers are creating these designs and mock-ups, and they're actually sending these off to the organizations, whether it's Nike or whoever it is, and they're actually getting approved. They're getting accepted, and they say, we want our team to be represented with this. This is what we want our players to wear. This is what we want to put out there that represents the city, the organization, and then you have, again, you're saying this is going to go with the white on white. So you have white all the way down, then you have this black helmet. It's a complete and total failure. I mean, I love the Saints when they get things right.
Right.
And they had it right for so many years, and just to see them get worse and worse and worse, and I have to remind myself that the good news is they're only going to wear this at the most 3 times a year. I just don't see why anyone would want to wear this, other than the whole idea of black. But could they have at least even done what the Bears did? As bad as the Bears helmet is, at least there's nothing just bizarre about it. They didn't do anything that hasn't been done. It's just loud and sort of obnoxious with the bright orange. But this is just, again, well, no one else has tried this, so let's be the first. And hopefully it doesn't catch on and we see a year of this and they drop it. That would be my hope.
Right. It would have been better for them to do like the Cardinals did, make a whole separate alternate black uniform set and match that with this instead of continuing to wear the white retro set with this.
I can't do anything except shake my head and look away when I'm seeing this come on the screen. It's yikes. This is a professional helmet. This is an indoor arena football helmet. I said that about the Panthers earlier. It isn't matte. That's the positive I have for this helmet. It isn't matte. This stripe thing with the tiny little logos in there is one of the worst helmet designs I have seen, that we have seen to this point. F all the way. On a more positive note, good news is we've got the New York Giants, because I could not take another bad one after that.
Yeah, really nice to see this helmet come back. Very strong contrast between the dark blue, the Giants lettering, the face mask, and then the stripe. Even though there's no red anywhere else, it's very solid and provides structure. I personally like this helmet better than the current one. The Giants name fills the space in better than the NY, but I do still like the NY and the classic look very much as well. And the change with this is they were wearing this design with the metallic lighter blue shell, and now with the one shell rule lifted, we have the traditional darker blue coming back. It might not match the jersey similar to the old classic Rams set, but it's still a great design, and I would give it a A-.
Love seeing this Giants helmet back. We've seen a little bit of it, we've seen some of it with the white, but now they're going to be wearing with the home blue, which is exciting. I've always liked this helmet. This is the helmet that we grew up with in the 90s. It's not the best of the best, but it's very solid. And it goes back to an era of a lot of success. Bill Parcells, New York Giants teams, Lawrence Taylor. Those of us who are Phil Simms guys, not Tony Romo guys, he should still be in the broadcast booth. I know most people don't feel that way, but I'm just putting that out there right here, even though we're doing uniforms. Going back to the 80s, people didn't look at them the way that you had the Eli Manning Giants, where people would say, oh, well, they just kind of got lucky, beating the Patriots, and then the other years they weren't good. And the Giants were consistently winners, and no one was questioning whether they were great teams in the 80s. And to the start of the 1990s with their Super Bowl in 1990. Maybe people feel that way about the 90 team beating the Bills. I don't look at it like that. They deserve to win that game. But there's a lot of winning. There's a lot of history with these. They don't go back, sure, as far as the regular helmet. But it's good to see this back in some kind of rotation a couple times a year. And I would love to see them go back to this permanently again. So I give it a solid B.
So would I like to see them go back to this permanently, and I did like the lighter blue, whether it's metallic or not, that they were wearing when the one shell rule was still in place with the white on white jerseys and pants. Something like that would be really nice, but for being accurate to history, this definitely is the best.
So that's the good news with New York. Now we have the bad news. And I'll say this, the team that gets the most attention in New York is the Jets, though the Giants have been the historically significant team. The Jets had one season. The Giants are the team of New York, not the Jets. And the Giants are the good-looking team, and the Jets, and we were extremely critical of the Jets back last season, the full review. We had them as the second worst looking team in the whole league. Only the Falcons, they were 32. The Jets were 31. You know, they have their regular helmet is kind of this aluminum metallic looking green. So they go in the all the way extreme opposite direction. Here they go with a black mat. Again, just black for the sake of black. You got to have black.
Right. To me, this is the lowest point in Jets uniform history.
And they've had some low moments, but
yeah,
this is rock bottom.
It is. You go back to the Joe Namath era, the 70s and 80s, where they did have a green helmet, but they had white and green, not black. Even the early 90s, where they had the green with the black face mask, all those are better than this. And I would really like to see them bring back the Joe Namath ones again. I realize why they aren't and won't at the moment, but I was very sorry to see those go in the first place when they changed to these current uniform sets. But this is taking it even farther with the black and the matte. And personally, I like to have seen either the Joe Namath be their alternate helmet, or you could even take this template and have gone with white with the green logo, and it would be some sort of a kind of hybrid throwback. It would have been better than black. So I give this an F.
Yeah, congratulations, Zach Wilson. What you're already wearing, the standard default helmet, is very bad. But 3 times a year, you're probably going to be wearing this piece of junk. And I never understood why I kind of like the 90s ones, but I never understood why they went away from the classic 60s Joe Namath Jets helmet. That is the only helmet that ever had any success in. As much as I disliked the Rex Ryan Jets, they looked good, and that honestly was the most successful they were all the way since the time of Joe Namath. The only real success they ever had is in those uniforms with that helmet. And now it's just, what was this, expansion franchise?
Yeah.
I mean, this is really low, and I don't think it's extreme calling it rock bottom for the Jets between their regular uniforms and they're going to be wearing this.
Yeah, I realized they just came off changing from the Joe Namath uniforms, but I mean, with all the history and the limited success they had wearing those, the only success they had, they should have brought it back sooner anyway.
Yeah, and I'm not saying those uniforms were the best thing in the league, but
For the Jets.
For the Jets, they're very good, and ones that I always give a thumbs up to every time, and one that I never even give a thought to of replacing.
Right.
Grade?
Yeah.
I was thinking D earlier, D minus, but considering this is the Jets, and it's matte, and usually they would have a white helmet, F. Why be kind to them? Why give them a break? They've earned an F. Philadelphia Eagles.
Same classic solid design that they've had for 20 plus years now, just in black. And I still think it's a great template and setup. The throwback ones will be coming next year, but this is still very good and works. I would say it also fits in the category of totally unnecessary, but it still is a very good design, and it's not that far away different in color to the green that they currently have. So it's not that big of an offense compared to some of these ones we've been looking at.
So I imagine they're going to wear black all the way down with these. That's what you'd expect.
Either black on white pants or black on black.
Again, I agree with you. Unnecessary because they already have a dark green helmet. I mean, it's one thing if they had, say, the color that the Eagles had going back to the 80s and 90s, that shade of green, but they already have a darker green. The design is unchanged. It's still the good design of their standard helmets, so I give them credit for that. But why do you need black? Just so many of these teams, you just don't need black. When I see this, I'll say, oh, well, there's the black, but it's not going to be a case of where I'm actually going to get mad when I see these.
Right.
I'm not going to be wild about them, but I give it a C.
Same here, C.
And then finally, I call this last and least. The Washington Commanders.
And we slightly reviewed this already with the Commanders review we did of their new uniform sets. But this also fits into the category of totally unnecessary. And the fact that there's almost nothing there makes it even more so that fact. Its only strength is that it's glossy, but otherwise there's nothing there. The logo being in the middle of the front of the helmet, down the middle instead of a stripe. And having such a strong helmet design in their uniform's history past, this is the lowest point as well for them as it was for the Jets, so I give it an F.
Yeah, F. And can I give it an F minus?
Yes.
An F minus. We can say one positive thing, and it's not a matte helmet. If it was a matte helmet, I wouldn't even know what to say. If it was a matte helmet. I called the Saints stupid. This is stupid and it's embarrassing. And this is absolutely a cry for attention because they have the new team name and they're looking to say, indeed, we are the first that have ever done this. Well, there's a reason why no one's ever done this before. And on here where you have what we call the push button with these helmets, it just highlights it all the more that they have the W right there where it looks like it's just going to lift right up. And there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing on either side of the helmet. I mean, it's just amazing. And what does this have to do with the team colors? The actual standard team colors, and we know they have black alternate uniforms, but they don't have any black in their default standard uniforms. It's the burgundy, and then it's the yellow. It has nothing to do with the team uniform. It again is just black for the sake of let's do black because everyone else does, and that's the cool thing now. It's silly. It's silly. It's embarrassing. It's unprofessional. And it is the worst helmet in the NFL.
Right.
At least the Saints have still maintained on the side the good old logo.
Right.
They have nothing, and it's just let's come up with something that will make us unlike anyone else. And
right.
They did that. They achieved that. Last point on this. The reason why teams put logos on the sides versus the front is identification. More people are going to be watching the teams on TV than actually being at a game. And you're going to see the side of players more than you're going to see a front-on view. And for a team that has a new team name, it's a matter of identification. You want to quickly make an impression, and then you want to be able to easily identify what this team is, and you can't do it with Washington. Overall, I'm disappointed. Not totally surprised. The quality of the new designs are bad. And I fear, every time I hear there's new uniforms, I feared when the new helmets came out, because something extreme may happen with these designs. Thankfully, there wasn't pink. I know it's coming. The positive is the throwback helmets. They're all impressive, good selections by these teams. And the Giants and the Falcons are actually improvements over their standard helmets.